Hey girl, Marissa here. You are listening to the Codependummy podcast. As a young woman, you have been raised, reinforced, and rewarded for putting the needs of others above your own. Now, in your 20s, you're finding yourself exhausted, exasperated, and enveloped in shit relationships, especially the one you have with yourself. Codependency is a way of being where we put the feelings, wants, and needs of others above our own in an unconscious attempt to meet our own feelings, wants, and needs. Sorry to break it to you, sis, but that is not sustainable. This podcast is to help you undo all that so you can stop playing small and start taking up space, you dummy. Let's get to it. Hey girl, hey. It's your girl, Marissa, your hostess Moses of the Codependummy podcast. Welcome back to part 2 of DJ CODEPENDUMMY, where we will continue to analyze a bona fide codependent song, a codependummy anthem, a song that would be one of the top songs on Codependummy's Hot 100. Okay. We started last week, if you're catching up, applying my analysis to Loveful by the Cardigans. If you have yet to listen to that episode, I would encourage you to listen to that first. If you have yet to listen to this song, I would encourage you to click the link to Spotify or YouTube that I've included in the show notes. Oh, there's my dad. I'm recording at home. Apparently, I've been hanging out with my parents a lot. I do live in my own home, but codependency, you guys, it's an umbilical cord. It's hard to cut. So anyways, recording from the safety of my parents' home. I think my dad just turned the sprinklers on. So we are dealing with the reality of my life being a baby podcaster. We are celebrating 10 months. I think we just passed 10 months. So we've given birth to the podcast, and now in human time, we would be about a month old on the planet. Let's check in. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Again. And we'll sigh. I want you to ask yourself these questions. How am I feeling? How is my body feeling? Any part of me, part of my body that is alerting me, notifying me it needs attention. What am I doing to tend to that today? What can I do to tend to that this week? Am I neglecting anything that needs tending to? Ask yourself those questions. Reminder, girl, have you gotten your copy of the Confiding Codependummy? I love alliterations. Confiding Codependummy. I was thinking about calling it the Codependummy Chronicle, but we went with confiding because I am empowering you to stop playing small and start taking up space. The Confiding Codependummy is a collection of 30 journaling prompts for a less codependent and more conscious you. You can go to www.codependency.com/tools for healing to get yourself a copy today. For $1 a day for the 30 days, you will get a PDF download, including all of the writing prompts broken down. You'll get a personal welcome video from me walking you through how to truly complete the 30 days of journaling prompts. And I will be emailing you every day with that writing prompt, journaling prompt for that day for a month. I'm just going to be popping into your inbox every single day. You'll love how I pop in on wherever you listen to podcasts every Monday. And now you will have me basically providing you with a check-in on your codependency every day. If you get it today, hello 2022 to you potentially taking up more space and not playing so small, playing big. Codependummy.com/tools for healing. And thank you to those of you who left a rating and review last week. I sincerely appreciate it. For those of you who have time today, a share of this podcast, a rating of this podcast, and a review of this podcast. The season of giving. Every week, this is my gift to you. For the next 5 years, I've said it, this will be my gift to you. And I appreciate your gifts to me. I do. So thank you. Thank you to those of you who reviewed. Thank you to those who shared. Thank you to those who rated. And thank you in advance to those of you who today will share, rate, and review. Go us. All right, part 2, DJ CODEPENDUMMY. The lens we are looking through, my boy lately, Alfred Adler. Couple quotes from his work. Adler wrote, "Living in fear of one's relationships falling apart is an unfree way to live, in which one is living for other people." This codependent life, this way of being, this is an unfree way to live. You are not living for yourself. You are living for other people. And as we will see, as we continue to see in this relationship, I am applying this song to. Talk about unfree. Talk about living for my ex-boyfriend who has a pseudonym, Kid Cudi. I was living for Kid Cudi. I live for Kid Cudi. I love the artist Kid Cudi, but ex-boyfriend Kid Cudi, I was living for him. Adler discourages us from clinging to relationships. He says, don't cling to the relationships right in front of you. There will always be you and I, and more everyone in larger communities that exist. What the fuck does that mean, Marissa? He discouraged clinging to relationships that weren't working, right? This unfree way of living. And he sensed we were clinging out of fear that we would lose in us, a sense of us. We would lose a sense of we. And he's saying there's more out there. There are larger communities. There are more people. There are future amazing husbands, Marissa. You just have to get your shit together. And on codependency, Adler lived and worked in a time before the label codependency existed, but he saw us. He spotted us. He called us anxious, neurotic about our relationships. He said, "It is true that there is no person who wishes to be disliked. But look at it this way. What should one do to not be disliked by anyone? There is only one answer. It is to constantly gauge other people's feelings while swearing loyalty to all of them." I'm going to say that again. It is to constantly gauge other people's feelings while swearing loyalty to all of them. I was constantly gauging my ex-boyfriend's feelings, and I swore loyalty to him. Adler continues, if there are 10 people, one must swear loyalty to all 10. When one does that, for the time being, one will have succeeded in not being disliked by anyone. But at this point, there is a great contradiction looming. One swears loyalty to all 10 people out of the single-minded desire to not be disliked. This is like a politician who has fallen into populism and begun to make impossible promises and accept responsibilities that are beyond him. I'm just gonna sorry, I had to move something. This is like a politician who has fallen into populism and begun to make impossible promises and accept responsibilities that are beyond them. I was like a politician in that relationship, making impossible promises and accepting responsibilities that were beyond me. Adler says naturally, his or her lies will come to light before long. He or she will lose people's trust, and in turn, his or her life will become one of greater suffering. If one is living in such a way as to satisfy other people's expectations, and one is entrusting one's own life to others, that is a way of living in which one is lying to oneself and continuing that lying to include the people around them. Ooh, 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 ooh. like Kanye. That is the lens we're looking through, right? Clinging to those in front of me, living an unfree life, lying to myself and to others in an attempt to avoid being disliked, which is a synonym for loved, accepted, embraced. Okay. We're going to look at 3 lyrics today. Lyric number 4. Let's take, I got warm up my pipes. I used to sing. I don't know if I told you guys that. I used to sing when I was 8 or 9. And apparently we're bringing that back 28. No, I can't do 24 years later. 25 years later. I would play the music, but I don't want to get sued. So, 4th lyric we're looking at. I don't care if you really care as long as you don't go. So, we ended with my snooping and finding his plans to hook up with someone else. And we stayed together. So I stayed that weekend. I stayed with him. Codependence, stay. STAY. Find out what I mean to you and you mean to me. STAY. I don't care if you really care. Excuse me, as long as you don't go, because I will never go. So now we've walked through January, February, March. It's hazy because the relationship was hazy. And that weekend that he had made plans to cheat on me while he was visiting his parents and friends. If we can even count it as cheating, because we actually weren't even officially together, but I ended up going with him to meet his mom, friends, etc. Big gesture. We had these big gestures. And I kept his passwords close to my heart. He did not know that. I sensed that was my attempt to avoid the lyric, as long as you don't go. That's all I wanted. Just stay with me, please. I will do whatever spying I need to do to get in the way, prevent, spot a negative impact, damage to our relationship. I recall that spring he came to Easter with me and my family. First time I brought a boyfriend around, relatives. Little do you know, he's an ass. He's not an ass. He is hurting. I am hurting. We have found each other. Weekends were spent in Santa Barbara, up the coast. He was in San Luis Obispo. By outward appearances, we looked like a happy couple. I remember we'd go hiking, we'd look all fit together, we'd go out drinking, dancing, have a good time. wine tasting and acting all fancy as we sipped our wine and smelled the smokiness of the pour. We go and get breakfast together, and I loved it. Looking like a couple, a happy couple. I remember he got a motorcycle. I can't remember the timing of this, but he did get a motorcycle, and I would ride on the back. We'd go to the movies, watch movies, make nachos, enjoy each other's company. We knew our favorite Starbucks orders. There was, despite the toxicity, the codependency, the secret keeping, lack of trust, there was happiness, fun, and love. I hesitate to say that. Lust. There was lust. There was sad, unresolved issues, respectively, coming together and trying to love. He was arguably an alcoholic, while I was a compulsive overeater. And we would talk about that. He day drank while at work. I'd consume a whole box of macaroni and cheese, and we would commiserate on our reliance on these substances. Him with alcohol, me with carbs and sugar. But it wasn't real. I think we did start to call each other boyfriend and girlfriend, maybe like in late March. But we didn't put it on Facebook because it would hurt his ex-girlfriend's feelings. I can't remember, but we didn't post it. And that was the thing. That was the thing to do in 2010. He was still talking to his ex-girlfriend in a quote friend capacity, and I was still spying on him like an FBI agent, covert agent. My friends and family would ask, "Hey, how's it going with that boyfriend of yours?" I would share all the good things. Oh, we went hiking. Oh, we went to the movie. Oh, we went wine tasting. But kept all the rest a secret. The messages with the dancer, ongoing conversations with his ex-girlfriend, the fact that we weren't official. I'd stopped talking to him for a day, week, weekend. He showed up unannounced. I didn't talk about those shadow, darker parts. I do remember, right, until I finally did. So I didn't talk about it, and I would break down. And Kylie, my raver friend, she's not my raver friend. She went to the rave with me where we got back together. She was checking in, we were laying out. Life looked good. I lived Oceanside in Isla Vista. I'm a senior, fourth year at UCSB, laying out. I'm going to graduate early. And Kylie and I were laying out one day. She's like, "Girl, how's it going?" And I started crying while telling her about finding out that conversation between him and the dancer. And she was like, why didn't you tell me sooner? It had been a while. It had probably been like a month or 6 weeks. And she said in so many words, you deserve better. You deserve better, Marissa. I don't know about you, baby girl, but Kylie's words, my sister's words, my parents' words, my other friends' words, none of that penetrated the fortress I had protecting my relationship with Kid Cudi. Maybe it made a dent. Potentially, some of it got through, but I would patch up the fortress again. I did not hear that. I didn't care if he really cared as long as he didn't go. It wasn't about deserving. Well, it was about deserving, but like Adler says, I swore loyalty. I made promises, verbally and non-verbally, explicitly and implicitly. So yeah, apparently I didn't actually care if he really cared. We just stayed together pretty much, despite what I had opposed in the fall and winter. Here we were, early spring. Yeah, you can talk to your ex-girlfriend. Yeah, you can make plans to hook up with other girls. Yeah, you can day drink. Yeah, we can take breaks because you won't commit yourself to me. And we'll reconvene when it's convenient for you. I don't really care. If you really care. As long as you don't go. Whatever I need to do for you to stay. Clinging. Fifth lyric. A toast first. Leave me, just say that you need me. I don't care about anything but you. The timeline is blurry. I apologize, girl. Somewhere in this early 2010 timeframe, I did stop talking to him. Maybe right before we became official, because I was tired again of not being official. Pulled out the stops again, right? Don't call me, don't text me, don't message me on Facebook. I likely referenced the dancer, the fact that he was still talking to his ex-girlfriend, and I mustered all the strength I could not to talk to him. Party's like, wait, didn't you tolerate all of that? Overall, I did, with these intervals, these moments of boundaries, of limits, of being at the end of my codependent rope. I did. So it wasn't all, I wasn't a doormat the whole time, but most of the time I was. And if you're confused, welcome to being codependent and being in codependent relationships, right? So I withdrew from our relationship, but we were still friends on Facebook. And I do recall taking lots of pictures with my friends who were his friends and also posting on my account. I just remember I went out with my friends for the purpose of looking cute in pictures that he would see. Did I want to go out? Maybe. But underneath the makeup, the outfit, the debauchery was my semi-conscious, unconscious attempt to just, show him how adorable and lovable I was. Just say that you need me. I can't care about anything but you. So yeah, I mean, we were codependent. He was codependent on me. I was codependent on him in different ways. It manifested different ways. And we took this break, probably a week, maybe two. And I remember being all sad, not really telling everyone specifically what was going on because we were probably going to get back together because we always got back together. So why am I going to tell people? Hoping he'd ultimately choose me. And I had work one morning. I was a barista, loved my barista job. So I biked my barista job, 6 a.m., brought my coffee cart, prepped my coffee cart, drove my coffee cart. I don't know what the verb is for cart. Pushed my coffee cart to my coffee cart spot. Mind you, it's maybe 6:30 in the morning. And sitting there in the cold, drinking my coffee, eating my probably a cinnamon roll that I didn't pay for, but I did that often on my shifts. We all the baristas, just take a bagel, take a donut. Sitting there and probably thinking about him, right? It's quiet. Whenever it was quiet, I always thought about him. I thought about him when I woke up. I thought about him when I went to sleep. I thought about him in class. I thought about him going to class, leaving class, going out, just all the time, especially when it was quiet. And sitting there, I look over, blink a couple times, and there he was. Uh, 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 hey, and he had surprised me at 6:30 in the morning at my coffee cart on campus. Somehow, yeah, he knew. He knew where I worked. Maybe he'd been to the cart before while he was going to work. Who knows? Saying that he needs me. What are you doing here? I remember saying. And he said, I miss you. I choose you. I want to be with you. I'm working in the area today and I'm off at this time. I want to take you out tonight. Okay. And here we go again. And he did that a few times. I can't recall specifically the details to every one. But what some would label as stalking, I would label as him saying that he needs me. Right? He was showing up at my work uninvited, unannounced, arguably unwelcomed. But for a codependent like me, I thought it was so romantic. Just ignore all the boundaries, all the limits I have put up. Just bulldoze over them and back up with the beeping bulldozer. You can just go over it again. I welcome any boundary crossing endeavor. And he'd actually shown up to my house that morning, but I had already gone to work. And he literally walked into my house. My 10 roommates and I at the time, I don't think we locked the door. He left flowers on my bed, drove to campus, came to find me on my cart. Big gesture. And big picture, I could not get rid of this guy and he could not get rid of me. We were codependent AF. But I don't care about anything. I did not care about anything but him. I really didn't. Like if I had plans later with a friend, I was likely texting her at that moment, hey girl, gotta cancel, sorry. I was in my 4th year, I was graduating, and a lot of that year I spent at his place in San Luis Obispo. I was not in Santa Barbara much of my 4th year. And I don't care about anything but you. I don't care about my boundaries. I don't care about my desire for monogamy. I don't care what my parents, sisters, and friends think. I don't care what plans I have. I don't care if I'm spending all my time with you. And yeah, that night he'd said something like, oh, I was so worried when I showed up at your place that you'd be there with another dude. And it's like, okay, they're not lining out the door. And also, I don't care about anything but you. Which is mostly true. And this is an example of why that is true, but it's a backwards example. So in one of these breaks, these many breaks that we had, I had gone out. We used to go out, I'm sure some of you, but it was Santa Barbara's party school. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, mimosas on Sunday. It's like Wednesdays were wet. I think it was wet Wednesday. I can't remember. And I remember, oh gosh, remember. I'm going to take a sip and we'll resume. I went out on a wet Wednesday, and a young man who at the time I had nicknamed Mr. Perfect, and I will continue to refer to him as Mr. Perfect because he was perfect. I bumped into him and we made out. I proceeded to get blackout drunk. And I think I ended up actually eating his face. Not actually eating his face, but you know what I mean. Just drunk and sloppy. And I had a chance with Mr. Perfect. But I didn't care about anything but Kid Cudi. Even Mr. Perfect showing interest, even making out with Mr. Perfect. He was a great guy. He is a great guy. I didn't care. I wanted Kid Cudi. I needed Kid Cudi clinging, promising, swearing loyalty to. This unfree relationship I was in, this clinging, handcuffed, locked to relationship, codependent relationship. I didn't care about anything but him. So he showed up at my work. We went out to dinner. We became official. But there's always a but in codependent relationships, right? Shaky ground. Ex-girlfriend is still around. I have his passwords that he is not privy to. I'm spying on him. He's drinking. I'm eating. We'd argue. I'd set some limit and take a break. We'd get back together. And we never truly addressed the lack of trust that neither of us had and neither of us ultimately deserved. As much talking as he was doing with his ex-girlfriend and other women, I was making out with Mr. Perfect during breaks, and I was spying on him. but neither of us cared about anything. I mean, we cared about other things, but we kept coming back to each other. This way of being where we mutually, in our fucked up ways, prioritize the thoughts, feelings, and needs of each other in an unconscious attempt to fulfill our own feelings, wants, and needs. This chapter, this episode, this segment is going to end with tying in the lyrics. Love me, say that you love me, need me, say that you need me, love me, pretend that you love me. I can't remember. Fool me, go on and fool me. I don't care about anything but you. I sense it was around April. We were together. I had graduated. I had come home to my parents. I can't remember why. And for some reason, he, who knows, maybe we took a break or something, but he changed his relationship status to single on Facebook. It's very official and out there. And close friends of his who he had told me that he talked with them about us and being together and being a couple. And a few of his friends commented in confusion, like, haven't you been single? Something along those lines. So it was evident to me that he was still single to others outside of our relationship, especially with his close friends. And I was at the end of my codependent rope. So I commented fail, because that's what we said every other word back in 2010. Oh, fail. Despite him saying that he loved me, despite him fooling me, pretending to love me, all my FBI spying, he still ultimately was not choosing me. So I said fail. He freaked out, called me, was texting me. He called me a bitch. I remember that clearly. And I said, I really need time. I'm going to turn my phone off because that's what I needed to do. Please don't talk to me. And attempted to end things. But knowing me, knowing yourself, knowing the codependent relationships we've had, you know that that was not the end. Not for a codependent dummy like me. But that's the end for now. We will do the next chapter with another song. And for now, turning to you, how did you relate to this discussion today? What have the lyrics of the song looked like in your own life? How are they applicable now? If so, why? That is a compassionate why. Why? Why are they applicable now? Ideally, how can you love, need, and not care about anything but yourself? Oh, that's selfish, Marissa. I can't do that. I would argue that to combat the other-centeredness that you have been, the other-ish that you have been for decades, it's okay to go from one extreme to the other and trust that over time, you're gonna find balance. So what can you do to not care about anything but yourself? These songs highlight our codependent experience, but with awareness, with consciousness, over time, we will stop relating to these songs so much and start relating to self-loving, self-trusting, self-reliant songs much more. That is the goal. I am rooting for you. Thank you for rooting for me. We're going to talk about the holidays next week. Be prepared. I'll help you prepare. Being around family. And I wish you all the courage you need to live a free life, free of the expectations of others. What Adler said, the courage to be disliked. That's episode 53. Oh, shoot, I forgot the themes. Couple codependummy themes from the song, and then we'll wrap up. 4 big themes. We obsess over others while neglecting ourselves. I was constantly asking, what does he want, as opposed to what do I want? We tolerate being mistreated and feeling deserving of it while indebted by others because of it, right? He would treat me this way and I go, oh, I deserve it. I'm a piece of shit. And also he owes me now because that's state. Third codependent theme, we lack trust. We lack trust of others. And rather than addressing it head on, we poke around to confirm our distrust. Fourth big theme, we relinquish responsibility for our happiness to others or another and act like we have absolutely no autonomy. That was my codependency in these big themes that was demonstrated in the lyrics analyzed today. Episode 53. Thank you so much. I will see you next week. Take care. Hey girl, it's Marissa again. I'm not like a regular podcaster, I'm a cool podcaster, right? Thank you for listening and staying till the end. You can find me on Instagram at Therapy with Marissa. Email me, marissa@codependummy.com. Check out codependummy.com for more information on the show. And baby girl, a subscribe, rating, and review would be much appreciated. Till next time, I want you to remember, if you are feeling unseen, I see you. If you are feeling unheard, I hear you. And if you think that you don't matter, know that you matter to me. I want you to go out there so you can stop playing small and start taking up space, you dummy. And now, the disclaimer. Girl, this is not therapy and I am not your therapist. This podcast is designed to provide accurate and authoritative information in regards to the subject matter covered. It is given with the understanding that neither the host, publisher, or guests are rendering any legal, clinical, or other professional service. If you want or need a professional, please find one.